I had polio when I was 8 months old, and my mother became very engaged in polio vaccination. She took me door to door as a warning to other parents of the consequences should their own children remain unvaccinated. She made me feel part of a great mission that impacted lives. But my goal is that 30 years from now, kids will look at it and say, what is cervical cancer? Most cervical cancers are transmitted by a virus, the human papilloma virus, or HPV. Cervical cancer is a devastating but preventable disease. It continues to be the leading cause of cancer death among women in many countries. It need not be so. This project is a product of a friendship between two Rotary clubs, Rotary Club of Birmingham and Rotary Club of Colombo. Our primary goal is for Sri Lanka to be the first country to eliminate cervical cancer as a public health problem through very simple strategies: screening and vaccination. We are training midwives to promote screening and guide women throughout the process, and the government has been a champion in HPV vaccination. We all know what works: government support for a sustainable program, and committed partners who, like my mother, will use personal talents, connections, and determination to get screening and vaccination to our communities. The lessons learned in Sri Lanka will serve as a platform for us to rapidly expand to other countries. Can we do it? Yes, because in my mother's words, the impossible just takes a little longer.
One more time then. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. 恭喜發財，新年快樂. This week is Lunar New Year. We're going to talk more about it later, but I am Mary Jiang, president of the Oakland Rotary Club. Founded in 1908, we are the third oldest club of some 36,000 Rotary Club in over 200 countries around the world. We are a diverse community of 270 business professionals and community leaders who unite to serve our local and international communities through a commitment to service above self. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our 5,421st meeting in the California Ballroom and online. For over 114 years, we have welcomed Rotarians and guests in our club meetings. Because COVID is still highly contagious, please, if you choose to wear your mask when you're not eating or drinking to protect yourself and each other. For those attending online, if you're a visiting Rotarian or a guest of a Rotarian, please enter your name in the chat box located at the center on the bottom of the screen so that we can recognize you in a few minutes. If you have comments or questions of the speaker, please use the chat box. We recommend you view today's meeting using speaker view located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Now, for our thought for the day, I'd like to welcome Rotarian Julie Fox, who we haven't seen in person in over a year. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Good afternoon, President Mary, fellow Rotarians and guests. It's delightful to be back after such a while. It's wonderful. It's just like, this is my gene pool. Okay. Today's thought for the day is, you never go wrong when you take the high road. High road. It's less crowded up there, by Gail King, journalist. I have another one. Be always at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let each year find you a better man. Ben Franklin, Founding Father. Thank you.
Julie, we hope you will come back next week. Thank you. All right, will you join me in reciting the Rotary Vision Statement? Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. Okay, guests are welcome to visit our club, and today we have plenty of guests. But due to the interest of time, I think we're gonna switch the order. I'd like to have Ed Jalen, see if we have any visiting Rotarians to introduce.
Yeah, thank you, President Mary. We do have some visiting Rotarians today, so I'm going to get to keep my job for a little longer, at least. Thank you. Anyway, we're honored to have with us today the president of the Rotary Club of Piedmont Montclair. Please welcome Regina Guillory. And from the Rotary Club of Fremont, the president of Thrifty Medical Supply, Murad Amir. Where is Murad? Yes, please. Is Sarah Linda here? Did Sarah Linda show up yet? Any visiting Rotarians that I missed? Thank you, President Mary.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand off this mic to whoever's our mic runner.
Okay. Okay, if you please state your name, your occupation, and your guest quickly.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Julie Fox, retired. Today, it's my pleasure to welcome and introduce my husband, Justin Fox, also retired. Please offer him a warm welcome. Thank you.
Isaac Koss-Reed, local civic advocate, and very proud to be joined by Bill Kroedinger, president of Argent Materials.
Hi, my name's Pat Williams. I'm retired. I'd like to welcome my friends, Jody Murphy. Jody's a retired educator, and Jean Dowd, also a retired educator.
Brett.
President Mary, I'd like to introduce three guests who I happen to have found here. Chris Tipton, Joshua Polston, and Chris Moore, all from the East Bay Rental Housing Association.
Okay, I'm Joel Parrott, retired, and my guest today is Amos White from 100,000 Trees for Humanity.
Karen Friedman, retired. I'm pleased to introduce Rudy Besikoff, who's the president of Laney College.
Keith, will you do your guest quickly?
Thank you, President Mary. I have a number of guests today. First of all, alphabetical order, anybody stand when I introduce you. Jay Ashford, founder of ATS, a tech and training consulting company, and has served on numerous Oakland commissions and boards. Jay. Okay. Okay. Britt Boltich, labor and employment arbitrator and co-founder and chair of the Oakland Town Business Committee, which supports the development of the Howard Terminal Stadium. Thank you. Roseanne Torres-Carves, civil attorney and former Oakland Unified School District trustee. Roseanne. Julie Caskey, campaign consultant. Thank you. And civil rights and criminal justice attorney. Pastor Dr. Billy Dixon Jr. Of the Thy Word Christian Center. Nina Joyner, small business owner and community activist. Hannah Malik, Executive Director of the Bay Area Red Cross, soon to be inducted into Oakland Rotary. Joe Partida, President of the Oakland Latino Chamber of Commerce. Joe. Jennifer Solinsky, Berkeley Unified School District Director and President of the Peralta Federation of Teachers. And Dr. Jin Tran, President of the Oakland Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce, Professor at Cal State University East Bay, Executive Director of the National Progressive.
I know, it's not me, it's coming from you. I'm not getting video anymore.
Thank you. You're picking up. Thank you, Mary.
Anna Marie?
Hi, I'm Anna Marie Jones, Emergency Management and Community Facilitation. I'm delighted to introduce my friend Joy David. She is in healthcare.
Ruth?
Good afternoon, President Mary. Ruth Straub with Farmers Insurance. I'd like to introduce my neighbor and small business owner, Hugh Morrison. I'd also like to introduce online Heidi Williams, a local lender. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, so we have guests are always welcome to join a meeting or participate in a community service activity. Today, meeting is sponsored by Rotarian John Clausen. Unfortunately, John is out of town having fun in Oregon today, so he asked Karen Friedman to speak on his behalf.
Thank you, President Mary. John couldn't be here, but he prepared some remarks that I'm going to read. So we are honored today to have Laney College President, Dr. Rudy Besikoff, join us at our Rotary meeting. We are also proud that Oakland Rotarian, who shares our motto, service above self, Sheng Thao, will be speaking to us as our new mayor of Oakland. Our Oakland Rotary Food and Housing Insecurity Task Force is very proud of our work with the Laney College Food Bank operations on Wednesdays over the last 3 years or more. We were doing it even during the pandemic. This is at the very heart of the mission of Rotary International. Rotary gives more scholarships, college scholarships, than any other entity in the world, including the United States government. Our Oakland Rotary Club gives local scholarships every year and prioritizes those students who are most in need and who would be the first in their families to attend college. And we also provide Rotary mentors for our scholarship recipients. Laney College is the crown jewel in the very heart of our city. Laney instructors and staff are dedicated to helping all students develop and use their talents to the fullest. Our Rotary Committee is cognizant of the special needs of many students. Our help with the Laney Food Bank has made us aware that at least 30% of students are food or housing insecure. We've learned that students who are hungry don't go to class. Rotarians at Laney give encouragement and support to all students we come in contact with. In addition, with our Rotary presence, we want Laney faculty, staff, and students to know that the community greatly values Laney College as an integral part of our city. In our Oakland Rotary Club's 114-year history, a constant theme has been to uplift students. We enjoy the news stories from 100 years ago about Oakland Rotary's annual patriotic parade with floats and marching bands ending at Lakeside Park with motivational speakers and 8,000 to 10,000 hot dog lunches being given to all students participating. We should try that again, President Mary. We help Laney students understand that high school graduation and enrollment at Laney is not the end of their education, but only a stepping stone to a successful future. And we want to walk with students on their exciting journey. We Rotarians can spread the word about the importance of Laney to all of the high schools in Oakland, and that continuing education is a key to the success for all. And on another note, you know, we are at Laney every Wednesday, every week, every Wednesday from 10 to 1. And we would like more Rotarians coming to help out. If you are interested, if you have questions, please contact me. You can email me, call me, text me. It's really fun. It's really rewarding. It's a nominal commitment, like an hour and a half only. And there's free parking right across the street. So what could be bad? Anyway, if you're interested, give me a call. Thank you so much.
Well, I'd like to thank John for sponsoring today's meeting. Rotarians, you too can sponsor a meeting for a princely sum of $250 and have 3 minutes of shameless promotion of your business or organization. Please contact Jesse if you're interested in becoming a sponsor of a meeting. Okay, past District Governor Ed Jelen, could you come up here and tell us something you want to share?
Yes, thank you, President Mary. Many of you are probably asked as you go about your business during the day, what sort of thing could you buy for about $30? Now, I get asked that, and I am prepared to answer the question. So, for example, you can buy tooth whitener. You can buy a light bulb that changes color to the color of your choice with an app to go with it. You can buy a daily planner with a nice leather binding. You can buy a set of 4 copper mugs. You can buy a fancy set of brushes or a nice travel pillow and many other things. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with Rotary? Well, what it has to do is because between now and January 31, only 5 more days, you could take advantage of the early bird special and attain a package for the District 5170 District Conference that includes attendance at the conference on Saturday, April 29, 3 meals at the conference, admission to the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, where the conference will be held, all for $120, a savings of $30 off the normal price of $180 that will happen after January 31. 150, yeah, it's going to go from 150 to 180. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, so just think of all the things you can buy with that $30 you can save with the early bird special. More information and registration is on the district website. Also some information about the wonderful forums they're going to have. More to come about speakers in the conference at a future announcement. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so remember to take advantage of the early bird special if you plan to go to the district conference this April, $30 discount. All right, Nancy William, would you like to tell us about an upcoming mixer event?
Thank you, President Mary. Rotary, are you ready for next week's Valentine's Smitten Mixer? Say that 3 times. If not, then you should get ready. It's the first Rotary Club of Oakland Business Development Committee event of 2023, and you don't want to miss out. The date is next Thursday, February 2nd, at 5:30 until 7:30 at our very own Linda Bradford's Restaurant Parlor, which is a great place if you haven't been. Linda has graciously agreed to provide the appetizers, so it's our job to thank her by purchasing beverages, preferably of the adult kind, and consider staying for dinner featuring California Italian fare, including pastas and wood-fired pizzas. Please remember to register yourself and your guest on the Rotary website so that we know to expect you and see you there. You just never know when Cupid might strike. Thanks.
Okay, earlier I mentioned Gong Hei Fa Choi, mean may you have a prosperous new year. Remember, Tonight is the Lunar New Year dinner at Peony Seafood Restaurant at Oakland Chinatown at 5:30 p.m. We are sold out. And we have over 100 people attending. Wow. And what color are you wearing tonight? And how many people are wearing red today? Whoa, quite a bit. Thank you. Jim Osnecker, could you tell us about something called chocolate?
I'm going to stand up here so I can be as tall as Jack. Thank you, President Mary. Cocoa or cacao? The age-old question, what is the difference between the two? I'm here to tell you that President Mary didn't give me enough time to tell you, so if you want to know, go look it up on Wikipedia or something. But chocolate, that's a word I think everyone understands. So in 2 weeks, on February 9th, we'll be having an early Valentine's Day celebration with chocolate. But since chocolate does not grow on trees, even though cacao does, we're asking you to make and bring your favorite chocolate dessert along with printed copies of the recipe to share. Prizes will be awarded. So again, 2 weeks from today, February 9th, bring your favorite chocolate dessert with copies of the recipe, don't forget that, to share with your fellow Rotarians. And maybe you will receive a prize. Jack won't, but maybe the rest of you will.
So for all those chocoholics, get ready to bake. All right, let's see. At this time, I'd like to invite Keith Urati to introduce today's speaker. Oh, excuse me, one more thing, sorry. We cannot forget Jack McAvoy. He has an announcement to make.
I can't believe that they were going to put the mayor on instead of me. I'm thrilled to see all these people who came out to hear my 1-minute announcement today. So we have a very special meeting coming up on the 16th of February. And this is an open invitation to all Rotarians here in the room and to all Rotarians who are on Zoom. We're going to have a special day honoring the past presidents of Oakland Rotary. I'll run through some numbers with you. There are 31 living past presidents of Oakland Rotary scattered in many different states. One is in the Falkland Islands. They're all over the place. So out of 31 past presidents, how many would you guess are going to be involved and here in this room on the 16th? Jim, you're close. 31, all 31 of them. One of them will be in an airplane overhead during the meeting and will be waving to us. So we won't see her that day, but we'll see the other 30 people. So folks, this is an opportunity to really to learn about the history, the modern history of Oakland Rotary, because these 31 people have created and led this club to create that history. So please mark your calendars to be here on the 16th. There will be a special reception before the luncheon. We have a regular program as well, but meet some of the people that perhaps you have not met and listen to the accomplishments of the many presidents of this club. Thank you.
All right, now, Keith, would you like to come up and introduce our honor speaker?
Thank you, President Mary, for asking me to introduce Mayor Thao. Several years ago, I was here before you with the then council member, Sheng Thao. As her sponsor, I introduced you to our newest Oakland Rotary member. Today, I am honored once again to introduce you this time to our mayor, Sheng Thao. I am confident that Mayor Thao will lead the city in the direction of social and economic growth that includes all who make up the mosaic we know as our city of Oakland. Fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming our mayor, my friend and fellow Rotarian, the Honorable Sheng Thao.
Rotarians, come on, let's give ourselves a round of applause. You know, it's full circle. I remember when I was in high school and I was in Interact. You know, I also was in Key Club. I'll admit, I was actually president for 2 years of Key Club and only a very active member of Interact. But, you know, I remember coming to luncheons just like this and really just being so surprised that so many adults would actually volunteer their time with all of their busy schedules. And so I just want to say that, you know, as we're moving forward as Rotarians, I do want to try to get more involved with our Interact clubs too. I don't know of how many active clubs we have locally, but I'm pretty sure the President Mary probably knows, and all of y'all will know too, Dudley as well. But I want to say congratulations, President Mary. You have also made history, right? You were the first API to be president. And I think that's incredibly important. When I won my race to be in Oakland's 51st mayor, we also made history here. And I say we because it truly is the we. You know, I'm the first Hmong American person to represent a large city and be mayor of a large city in the whole world. And so it was very interesting in that sense that, you know, you get calls from like the New York Times or Good Morning America saying like, we want to do this interview with you. And my only thought was, yes, an opportunity to get Oakland on the map, to say Oakland is actually a beautiful city. You may hear about all the crimes and the murders and all that stuff, but all urban cities have the same growing pains and the same issues. But we also have terrific people that live here in our beautiful city. We have terrific events. You know, the people here are like no other. When we talk about, you know, having a huge diversity, it's just not only to say diversity for diversity's sake. We all are connected and interconnected like I've never seen anywhere else. And so I want to make sure that I uplift how beautiful Oakland is. A little bit about me. I know that you guys probably read a lot about me already, but I do want to give a brief version of that. I am a daughter of refugees. My parents were resettled here as refugees. They escaped genocide from the secret war in Laos. And coming here, not understanding or knowing the language or the culture, very scary. They were actually the landing in San Francisco where they said that they saw a storage bin open up with jackets. My mom took a jacket, my dad did not because he said it wasn't his to be taking. And lo and behold, after San Francisco, they got hopped back on an airplane and were dropped off at Rhode Island where they saw snow for the first time. And then my dad was like, that's why they gave us jackets. He did not have a jacket. My mom laughed at him because that's my mom's personality. But yeah, that was the first time they saw snow, and they thought that the whole city was somehow burnt to ashes because they thought the snow was the ash. And so imagine that. It was a lot growing up, you know. I was born and raised in Stockton, California, out by the farmlands, and so we had a little farm growing up. I am a farm girl. After graduating high school, I moved out here to the Bay Area where I actually got into my first relationship. Was in that relationship for 4 years, all 4 years. There was domestic violence. I became pregnant, 6 months pregnant. You know, I still recall that day where he pulled me down from my hair. I was on the bed, he pulled me down and started kicking me in my 6 months pregnant stomach. And that was when I said, you know what, I can't allow for my unborn child to live this life or see his mom go through this. And so I left, and that's, you know, being 20 years old, I assumed my family would never take me back. I assumed the friends that I hadn't talked to for years wouldn't ever support me. And so I became homeless, lived in my car, gave birth at County Hospital, had no visitors, but only had the nurses to really teach me how to take care of my son, feeding him, bathing him. From there, I enrolled Merritt College, and did someone say woo? Yes, awesome. Yes, Merritt College here in the city of Oakland, the community college. I'm very proud to be a community college graduate. It's something I talk about all the time. Everyone when we talk about our young people, we have to ensure that they know that there's no negative stigma behind going to a community college. It's actually where students with lived life experience. It's a breeding ground, I believe, of terrific brains and people with solutions to the real world issues. And so graduated from Merritt College as valedictorian. And actually, I stood on that stage, and I remember former council member Abel Guillen, he was actually a trustee, and so he was on that stage with me as well, too. Transferred over to UC Berkeley with my son, all as a single mom and also working, and headed to law school, but did this paid internship that was going to give me $1,000 because I needed the money to buy my son clothes as he's outgrown his clothes. And they paired me up with at-large council member Rebecca Kaplan, lo and behold, here in the city of Oakland. And then, because I had such a terrific public education, I actually didn't know what local government did, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, whatever, I'm here for the money, right? And so as I'm doing this internship, I'm realizing that these were the policymakers, right, that were sitting at the table who were making policies for everyone, including families that were living on the margins. But the thing about that really got me is that none of them actually had the lived life experience. And we know there's negative consequences to any good policy or what have you. Nothing's perfect. But that's how I became involved in politics, was just trying to make sure that, the policymakers had somebody who had the lived life experience to be able to work through some of those ideas. And in 2018, ran for city council for District 4. It was an open seat. And then I became a council member, and then council president pro tem. And then ran for mayor, and here we are today. I went from being homeless to mayor of Oakland. Yeah. And I think that we are in such a unique situation in this very moment right now. I see that Councilmember Kevin Jenkins is in the room. Let's give a round of applause for Councilmember Jenkins. We are in a moment in Oakland where we can be united, where we can agree on how we move forward as adults, right? We are the adults in the city, and we have to move forward in that way. And so with that being said, I think that there's a fresh breath of air in regards to how the city council members and the mayor's office, how we're going to be able to unite and work together. We will not agree on everything, but I do believe that we can have those hard conversations and move forward together, along with our private-public partnerships, right? I pride myself on being a bridge builder, that I can work with everybody, and I want to continue to be able to work with everybody. Making sure that we move forward in ways that our city is suffering, including with public safety, our unhoused community. That doesn't take one person called the mayor. That's a partnership, a continuous partnership with our businesses, with our residents, with our communities. And so being on the topic of homelessness, my trip to DC, I was able to meet President Biden, lucky me, twice already. And we've actually had a very long conversation, about 45 minutes. I think he sees something in me that I don't see, but that's usually the case in my life. And something that I'm advocating for is more funding for unsheltered. My goal, and I'm very clear about it, is the ultimate goal is to take down all the tents, right? And in order to take down all the tents, we need to have some temporary shelter, some temporary permanent shelter, and also permanent housing. And so all of these variables and prongs need to all be happening at the same time. And so that's the ultimate goal. I am not shy about that. I have been homeless before, and trust me, living in a tent is not dignified. It is cold. You are not protected from the elements. And so we have to get people into these temporary shelters. But you can't talk about the temporary shelter, the temporary permanent shelters and permanent shelters if we don't talk about mental health. And this is the part that I've been really honing in on at the state level and at the federal level, trying to fight for dollars, is that we can talk about mental health all we want, and we can say, well, the county's not doing their job. But ultimately, we don't have housing for our mentally ill, right? And so the only housing that we have right now is our county jail. And I think that in this room, we can all agree that that is not how we solve our mental health crisis that we have on the streets. It's just not. And so working with partners, including, mind you, we have the most churches west of the Mississippi here in the city of Oakland. And so we need to do more with our faith-based communities. They have lots, they have lands that they want to develop but need help and support. And that's one of the ultimate goals, is to work with our faith-based communities to really develop their private lots, their private lands, help them figure it out, whether they want to sell it, whether they want to partner, and really move forward in that way so that we can truly address the affordable housing crisis, but at the same time, get to the ultimate goal of taking down all of these tent cities. On top of that, I know that it's top of mind for everyone when we talk about public safety. And I'll just address the elephant in the room with myself putting the police chief on paid administrative leave. And so I did choose to, along with Mr. Riskin, the city administrator, we did make a decision, an executive decision, to put the chief on paid administrative leave. And it is, I want to be very clear, it is not intended to be punitive at all. Like with any officer who is under investigation, for the integrity of the investigation, you want them on paid administrative leave. You do not want them to dig themselves into a deeper hole if there is a hole that was dug. You don't want other officers especially to feel as if they need to behave in a certain way, but it's for the integrity of the investigation. And I know that there are about 2 more reports that are coming and going to land on my desk. This investigation did not start when I just started my term, January 2nd, which, remember, it was only 24 days ago. But it started last year already. And so I'm just now receiving the report, and I receive the reports just as the public is receiving the reports. And so it's purely for just the integrity of the investigation. You know, I've always had a great relationship with Chief LaRon Armstrong, and right now our interim police chief is Chief Darren Allison, who has been our interim police chief about 2 times before as well too. He's completely able, and I have all the confidence in him to make sure that the police department is moving in a very active way without having the police chief, LaRon Armstrong, in the office. He is still working, still answering phones, still working, but just from home. And, you know, I'll answer any questions that you all may have, but I wanted to make sure that we address that. And on top of making sure that we have a thriving community, and on top of the priority list as well too, is supporting our small businesses. So I'm all ears when it comes to small businesses and how we, the city government, can be of support, and how I can go out and help fundraise for whether we do, and I know we definitely need a bucket of funds for when your windows are broken into, right? For when things are happening and you need just a little bit of support from the city so that you can succeed. It's not only about making sure that you're successful, but it's also about making sure that our businesses are thriving, and then creating that larger bucket of money so that we can spend is about attracting more businesses. It's not, you know, I've inherited a city hall with tons of vacancies, many vacancies, including in directorship. You know, I'm looking for a city administrator, you know, to be filled as well too. So I welcome, if you all have anybody who is interested in working for the city of Oakland in any directorship, please make sure that you reach out to my office. But I have a caveat. The caveat is that I believe that Oakland deserves the best, and I will only hire the best for the city of Oakland. And what does that mean? That means getting shit done, right? I'm just so sick and tired. Excuse the word, I'm sorry, President, but it's the truth. It's the truth, right? We need to get stuff done in the city of Oakland. Things are moving way too slow, so I'm bringing in people to come in and really check in, and I'm walking over to the permitting department myself to actually see a permit be processed. So I can see how fast and how slow people are working and where we can actually make those low-hanging fruit changes. You know, I don't say that I'm the professional in how permits get done, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out if you can consolidate in places that you need to consolidate. And so maybe I'll stop there. Are we taking questions? I will take questions. Yeah.
If anybody has questions, please come over to this microphone and form a line right here.
Is it on? Okay, there we go. The question I want to ask is, as a longtime business, I've been in business here in Oakland for almost 35 years. And I think the key to accomplishing social objectives is to also make sure you have a robust source of revenue for the city. You know, prior to COVID-19, we had an exploding commercial market here in Oakland. I think the vacancy rate was well over 95%. The key is, during COVID, a lot of businesses figured out how to work in the hybrid environment. And many employees are working outside of Oakland. And a lot of leases were signed just before COVID. So a lot of those leases will be expiring in the remainder of this year in '24. So the key I'd like to know, or the question I have is, what would you like to do to encourage businesses to stay in Oakland and to encourage businesses to come to Oakland? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So the first and foremost, and I've been very clear about this, is we have to open up City Hall. And yes, that means literally opening up those doors. And so that's a conversation I'm already having with our city staff and our labor unions. And so that will help with bringing back the activity here, especially in the downtown area. I know that many of the businesses, specifically in the area near and around City Hall, they're suffering. Right? A lot of their customers was our city workforce. And so with that being said, that's something that I'm working on, and I'm looking forward to reopening City Hall physically and bringing back workers to City Hall come February, but that's something that is an ongoing conversation, but we are getting really close. And in regards to how do we convince businesses to come and invest here in the city of Oakland, and that's something I'm really big on, is making sure that we have a really strong economic workforce development department where we are not only, because mind you, I've been at City Hall for a decade now. I know how stuff works. In the last however many years, I would say the last decade, the only place that I saw the EWD go is to, and well, not during the pandemic, but prior, was they would go to Las Vegas during the convention for, you know, retail or something like that and post up a table that says, hey, this is the city of Oakland, do you want to come? And that is not enough. That's not good enough. I myself personally am already scheduled many meetings, including internationally as well too, to make sure that we are attractive and attracting businesses. I see Oakland as the green hub. You have Silicon Valley, that is the tech hub. I see Oakland as the green hub. I want to make Oakland a place where businesses who are building the batteries of the Teslas, who are building, you know, all these like green infrastructure, that they should be based out of Oakland. Why not? We have those values. This is, you know, and not just that, but I've already been working with the port. The port is on the same page about moving forward so that we can be the greenest port in the whole nation. And that's a part of turning the Bay Area, the city of Oakland into a green hub. I feel some kind of way that one of the bigger battery businesses is actually in the city of Alameda when they're not in Oakland. When I called them to ask why, literally all they said was permits. You all take too long to give out your permits, and time is money. And I agree with that. And that is why I'm personally walking through the permitting department myself to ensure how can we consolidate and cut the time.
Congratulations, Mrs. Mayor. As a small business owner, who's done both domestic and international business, I agree with a lot of what you've said. I'm also a member of the Glenview and Diamond communities, which you're familiar with. Public safety, as you know, has a lot to do with bringing businesses here and being able to hold potential burglaries accountable. And I just want to leave you with one thought about, you've probably had your earful recently about what's going on with the chief. And that is that the NSA has not only affected this chief. Under the previous mayor, when we had 3 different chiefs, part of the reason that we went through 3 different chiefs was because of internal stakes being made inside OPD in order for other people to get the job or get subordinate posts. And I would request your administration to look into what is going on, including inside the internal affairs, that might have created this whole mess that we're in right now. And that includes looking at the chief subordinates who are in charge of internal affairs, whose names have not come up yet in this controversy. The second thing is that I raised my son mostly through Oakland Public Schools, and I did a lot of work on Measure J, getting Glenview Elementary rebuilt, getting the turf field at Edna Brewer Middle School, getting Beaumont reduced from 4 lanes to 2, and much, 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 much more. And in order to keep our kids safe, I'll finish. In order to keep our kids safe, the Department of Transportation is reopening 2 lanes in front of Edna Brewer Middle School on Park Boulevard to 4 lanes, which poses dangers to our schools and contradicts the OCDOT's own policies. And I would ask you to look into that. And thank you for being patient with me.
Yes, no problem. So in regards to the Internal Affairs Department and also the investigation, I want to be very clear, the chief is not the only officer who's been put on paid administrative leave. I want everyone to be cognizant that as mayor, I do have confidential reports that I have on my table that no one else has. And so all officers that are involved are on paid administrative leave. I agree, we got to look at Internal Affairs Department. I think that it's just not with the PD. I think it's any department. If you're having colleagues supervise each other and investigate each other, I think that that creates a grounds for, favoritism or whatever have you. And so there we are, the city council a couple years ago have already directed city staff to move the internal affairs department into SEPRA, right, which is the Community Police Review Board. However, we need to make sure that we are staffed up so that we can meet those timelines that the negotiated settlement agreement has required us to. And so that's a part of it, but at the end of the day, we do need to get IAD out of the police department and into an oversight board.
Good afternoon. My point goes to the fact that City Hall is still closed and we are still not having open public meetings. In a couple of months, it will have been 3 years since the pandemic started, and everywhere else around the Bay Area, everywhere else around the country, and almost everywhere else around the world, things are back to normal. If you look at Alameda County, their offices are open, they're having open public meetings, Berkeley, Albany, everybody else, things are back to business as usual, but not in Oakland. In Oakland, you make a phone call, people don't answer the phone, they don't respond to emails. You go to City Hall, it's practically vacant. If you want to get shit done, you need people to actually be at work. And every month, every month, the City Council, including you, have been voting for a resolution that says there's an imminent threat to public safety that warrants not having open public meetings. But look at this hall. Practically nobody is wearing a mask. We're all eating next to each other. You're not wearing a mask. How can you justify not having open public meetings and really allowing the public to participate if you keep passing these meaningless resolutions that says that the health situation is so dire that we can't even open up City Hall and have open public meetings? So my questions are, not, we're working on, I heard you say we're working on opening City Hall. I want to know, when is City Hall going to be opened? And when are you going to start having open public meetings, or at least hybrid meetings like every other city in the Bay Area is doing?
Thank you for that question. And I agree with you. I agree with you. And I stated earlier that we're looking at February. So that's coming up very soon. I'm working in consultation with the council president. As you know, the council president, she runs the council meetings. And so that is not in regards to the mayor, but I'm having these conversations with her. And we're looking to open up City Hall. I can open up City Hall, like physically, right? And so I'm directing my staff, my interim city administrator, Harold Duffy, that we are opening City Hall physically and that we are bringing back city workers. The part where I have to work with labor unions is the city workers part, but physically opening up City Hall, yes, that will be done. In regards to the council meetings, it is my understanding from the council president that it will be in person come February.
I'll make it quick.
Room for one more question.
Here's one more question. I don't want to be sacked. First of all, congratulations. I wouldn't want that job. So I'm going to be the old man on the lawn with the two peepees, police and potholes. Tell me what we're doing about the police and the potholes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So the police situation, we are at 726 officers that are funded. Right now, today, we have 697 officers. And a lot of that had to do with when I was on the city council, I passed multiple resolutions that I author to make sure that we can easily fill in those vacancies. For me, it's about filling vacancies. We have budgeted 726 officers, so that's what we should fill for. And we have a police academy graduation coming up, and we're going to be very close to that number, 726. And from that point, we can look and see how we move forward. But for me, it's about making sure that we are hiring homegrown folks. And so what you'll start seeing is that, and I've directed the chief this, is that how we advertise needs to look a little different. Let's do some interactive stuff. So what we've talked about is, like at City Hall Plaza, we have to activate that space. I want to work with the uptown, downtown bid to make sure that we activate that space to keep it lively, but keep ourselves safe. But one of those activation ideas is to actually put in the obstacle course that officers, like a replica of the obstacle course that officers have to go through. It really will then attract people to ask more questions about what does it mean to be an officer, what does it mean to go through the academies. And so we got to really think outside of the box when we talk about recruiting for these positions. More so than that, working closely with Merritt College and the Peralta colleges to ensure that we create the prep pipeline, right? We should prep our people to actually be successful when they do go through the academies, just not send them to the academies and then see them fail, because we pay for that person no matter what. It costs $4 million an academy. So we got to do the prep work so they have a higher success rate as well. And these are the things that we're working on. And potholes. Yes, potholes is a major issue, especially with all the rain that we just currently have. And so that's something that is still ongoing. The paving is still going to be ongoing as well too. I know that Mayor Libby Schaaf did a great job with the Great Pave, but it's not enough. Mind you, we were 80 years behind schedule, so we're just trying to catch up. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, President.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry that's the time we have for question. If Mayor Sheng willing to stay 5 or 10 minutes after the meeting, maybe you can answer the question.
I just have one question.
So, Mayor Sheng, thank you for that great presentation and willing to answer the tough questions. Education is my area of focus for this year. The Rotary Club of Oakland is proud to partner with Oakland Promise to offer 8 $10,000 scholarship annually, along with mentorship. We are proud to support many as the first in their family to attend college. In recognition of your presentation today, Oakland Rotary will make a donation in your name to the Oakland Promise to support its kindergarten to college program for every child in our city. Thank you for appearing today. Rotarians, do we have any Rotarian have any celebration or special event to share? Okay. Yeah, anybody? Oh, yes, Keith, I didn't see you. Okay, Keith would like to ring a bell for the new mayor. Okay, and just for you who want to, a bell ringer is a generous tax deductible donation of $100 to our Oakland Rotary endowments. So, thank you very much. All right. Are there, Peter Sheriff, are there any bell ringer online?
No, there are no bell ringers online.
Thank you.
But do you have President Mary?
Yes.
But do you have a bell ring here, live in person here?
Okay, Danny Mai.
I'm Danny Mai. I'm a refugee myself, and I just want to ring a bell on Mayor Sheng Thao. Thank you for being the catalyst of Asian women and all women around the world. And I know you have a challenge ahead, but on behalf of the Oakland Rotary Club and myself, I wish you the very best.
Okay. Isaac? Okay, Isaac Cosby. Shannon?
Hi, I'm Shannon Hackley. I'd like to ring the bell for this full ballroom for doing the community service of opening up a room for the mayor. Since the city hall's closed, we'll open our room for you. And for Danny being back. Great to see you.
Shannon Hackley. I also would like to ring a bell for my good friend, Mayor Sheng Thao. We journeyed many times during her campaign time. Mary Jiang. Okay. All right. At this time, David Stein, could you tell us about next week's speaker? Someone give a mic to him.
All set, Mary. President Mary, fellow Rotarians and guests, next week, I believe, is a Zoom-only meeting. Just reminding you, don't come to the ballroom next week, although it's great to see you all here today. It's a Zoom-only meeting, and we're going to go from local to international. On February 24th, 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. What's the state of the war now? Where is it heading? And what are America's interests in Ukraine and in the world? Our speaker next week is Ambassador John Herbst, who is the Senior Director at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center. Ambassador Herbst spent 31 years in the U.S. State Department as a Foreign Service Officer, including 4 years as Ambassador for the United States to Ukraine. Please join us next week on Zoom to hear Ambassador John Herbst. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Julie Fox, for the thought of the day. You look gorgeous. John Clausen for sponsoring today's meeting, and Karen Friedman for speaking on John's behalf because he's out of town. Ed Jelen for the district conference early bird special and what you can buy for $30 savings. Nancy Williams for the Valentine mixer. Jim Bossenecker for the chocolate bake-off. Keith Uriati for introducing the speaker, Mayor Sheng Thao, and Sheng Thao for her inspiring presentation and willing to answer the tough question. David Stein for the teaser, and the production team for managing this great meeting. Before you all leave, please remember to bust your lunch trash and put it away in the garbage and recycle bin at the back of the cover. So, share, which means thank you everyone. The meeting is adjourned.